got the epithelium that covers most of the surface of the tongue. It also lines the oral cavity, the oral pharynx, the laryngopharynx, and the esophagus. You can see it here. What kind of tissue is this? Mentioned last time.
Stratified squamous.
Non-keratinized, stratified squamous epithelium. Multiple layers of flattened cells. You can tell by the flattened nuclei here, even though you can't see the cell boundaries. So this covers most of the surface of the tongue. It lines the oral cavity, oral pharynx, laryngopharynx, and esophagus. Also, we find it in the anal canal, which is the distal end of the large intestine. Again, you've got a good thick protective layer here. You've got food and drink rubbing against the walls. In between, you got another type of epithelium. What is that? Lining the stomach, small intestine, and most of the large intestine. What kind of epithelium? I mentioned that yesterday. So that's left.
Simple columnar.
Simple columnar epithelium. Okay? Much thinner layer of tissue, and this facilitates nutrient absorption. You have some of that occurring in the stomach, a lot of it in the small intestine, and also some in the large intestine as well. At the other end, when you need a thicker layer of tissue to protect, you have this non-keratinized stratified squamous. That's what we see here. Okay? Under the tongue, or under the tongue category, okay, if you look on page 10 of your lab objective sheet, under tongue toward the top of the page, it mentions the papillae. There are three major types of papillae in the human tongue. These are projections on the surface of the tongue. First one listed there is the circumvallate papillae, and that's what you see here. These are the largest, the three general categories of papillae in the human tongue. You see here. They're also the fewest in number. And embedded in the epithelium of these papillae you see some other structures you should recognize, or be able to recognize. These structures, what are these?
Goblet cells.
What are they?
Goblet cells.
No, they're not goblet cells. These are taste buds. Somewhat resemble goblet cells. Got a little pore. The saliva liquefies the food. Some of that goes into the pore here. Now these are receptors for your basic taste sensations, which are
Sweet.
sweet, sour, salty, bitter. Okay? As I said before, the fine salty of taste discrimination, which we are capable of, has more to do with your sense of olfaction, your sense of smell. So the circumvallate papillae, you can see here, are the largest, the fewest in number, and they have taste buds in their epithelium. And that's what these structures are, not goblet cells, though they may resemble goblet cells. That's one of the three categories, general categories of papillae. You can see them in the surface of the human tongue. We've got another one right here, and this is called a filiform papilla. You can see they're sharp and spine-like. No taste buds here. These are the smallest, the most numerous of the taste buds, of the papillae, but no taste buds associated with it. Instead, what they do is they give the tongue a rough surface. In other words, they increase the grip of the tongue so it can better manipulate the food. These don't manipulate the food, the tongue does that, but with a rougher surface, it enables the tongue to get a better grasp and move the food around the mouth, which it does. It keeps it under the teeth, it mixes it with the saliva, it comes to a mass, and then shoves it back in the throat to initiate swallowing. So again, these increase the grip of the tongue, they give it a rough surface. And some mammals, like for example cats especially, ever felt a cat's tongue, it's like sandpaper. That's because cats groom themselves. You don't see cats taking a bath. Most cats are have an aversion to water. You may bathe your dog, but seldom do you bathe your cat. What does a cat do? It cleans itself by licking its fur. It's actually combing through the fur, and by virtue of these papillae, it combs out debris from the fur. So it cleans itself that way. Most humans don't lick themselves to clean it. So, for our purposes, it doesn't aid in grooming, it aids in takes food but gets a tongue of rough surface will increase the grit of the tongue. So again, these are the filiform papillae. We also see some other things associated with the tongue here in the connective tissue, which is deeply epithelium. First of all, these purple stained structures are clusters of cells. Now these cells are serous cells. We're going to see two types of cells in salivary glands. These are part of the lingual, the sublingual salivary glands. As I said, all salivary glands secrete saliva, but the consistency of saliva varies depending on the ratio of cells, serous to mucus. Now these are serous cells. They're darker stained. What they do is they produce a thin, watery secretion high in enzyme. The enzyme is salivary amylase. Anybody know what amylase does? It catalyzes the breakdown of starch, which is a polysaccharide, into maltose, a disaccharide. So it starts carbohydrate digestion. So as you begin to digest your food, these carbohydrates in your mouth. You've got in the saliva, produced by these serous cells, an enzyme, amylase, that breaks down these complex carbohydrates like starch and maltose. Remember, starch is composed of many glucose molecules. It's a large complex carbohydrate. It's broken down to disaccharide, maltase, maltose rather, which contains two glucose molecules. So you're beginning the digestive process of carbohydrates. Again, these serous cells, these thin watery secretions, high in amylase. Something else we see here, this red stuff here. What is this? Dark things are nuclei. It's what? What's a tongue full of? Some people eat it. Okay? Why? Do we have enough better to eat? Anyway, it's muscle. Your tongue, you've got a lot of movement with your tongue. What kind of muscle would this be? Skeletal, honestly. It's under conscious control. You can manipulate the tongue. Some people can do very fancy things with their tongue. You know, bar tricks. They can take a cherry stem, tie knots and stuff like this. But it's highly manipulative because of all these skeletal muscle fibers here. So that's what this is. It's muscle, but not smooth muscle. Skeletal muscle. By the way, let's go back to the filiform papilla. These are spine-like ones. See a couple here. And then you see this one over here on the edge. This is one place where you have keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, right here. So these little patches in the tongue where you have filiform papilla are actually keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. The rest of the tongue, your oral cavity, oropharynx, laryngopharynx, esophagus, non-keratinized stratified squamous. Any questions on this? Okay, we'll look at another slide. This, by the way, this slide is called monkey tongue taste buds. Next slide is called lingual glands. These are salivary glands associated with the tongue. Lingual refers to tongue. And we're going to see, again, a section through the tongue. Again, we're going to see the same type of epithelium we saw before. Which is non-keratinized stratified squamous. Again, multiple layers of flattened cells. It's non-keratinized. That's what this is. Now we see in this slide the third type of papilla on the human tongue. We mentioned the circumvallate, which are the largest, least numerous, and contain taste buds in their epithelium. We saw the very numerous small filiform papillae, which have no taste buds but are very numerous. Now the third type is the fungiform, which we see here. And it's kind of rectangular. It's not as large as the filiform, but it's still fairly prominent. And here, perhaps you can see a little bit better these structures. What are these? That is the epithelium again. Taste buds again, not goblet cells. It's a little more obvious here. So we see taste buds in the circumvallate papillae. We also see it in the fungiform papillae, but not in the filiform. Okay? These are intermediate in size between the circumvallate and the filiform. And intermediate, and abundance. So smaller than the circumvallate, but more numerous, larger than the filiform papillae, but less numerous. Again, you can see it here, there's another one right here, here's another filiform papilla, there's another filiform papilla. So you should be able to recognize these three types of papilla. Circumvallate, the big ones, they have taste buds and rough feeding. These intermediate sized ones, kind of rectangular, which are the fungiform papillae, also with taste buds and rough feeding. And then the spine-like, much smaller papillae, which are the filiform. To increase the grip of the tongue, give it a rough surface, so the tongue can better manipulate the food. Again, on this slide, you can see muscle, that's what this stuff is, pink stuff. Okay. You can also see another cell type here. As you can see before, these look kind of cottony, much lighter stain. And then the cells that we saw before, these are the serous cells, the darker stain one. Again, they produce thin watery secretions high in amylase, salivary amylase. These are mucus cells. First glance you may think they're fat cells. They're not. Fat cells, we look at stained tissue preparations, are just empty cells. Because in life, they're full of fat droplets that gets leached out by these solvents they use to dehydrate the tissue prior to staining. So they just look like big empty spaces. These you can see have something in them. These are mucus cells. That's the other cell type that we see in salivary glands. So the darker stained serous cells produce thin watery secretions high in enzyme. These produce thick viscous secretions low in enzyme. This accounts for the mucus in the saliva. So mucus cells, serous cells. And these are part of the lingual, sublingual salivary glands associated with the tongue. As far as the ratio of these, in the lingual, sublingual, there's a predominance of the mucus cells. So the saliva produced by these glands, the lingual, sublingual glands, is thicker, more viscous, lower in enzyme than the other two, the carotid and the submandibular salivary glands. Okay? Some questions on this? Again, overall, again, you can see the epithelium here at the top, the side. Here again, you can see the fungiform papillae. There's one of the filiform. Here again, the dark stained cells are serous cells. The lighter stained cells, mucus cells. And this, of course, would be something else again. So these are things you'll be able to pick out in these sections of the tongue. Any questions? Okay. Let's look now at another type of salivary gland. This is the submandibular. Now this one again, we're going to see both cell types we saw before, both serous cells and mucus cells. And again, the darker stained ones are the serous cells, the lighter stained ones are the mucus cells. We're also going to see some other things as well that we didn't see in the previous slide. Again, this is submandibular salivary gland.